Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. This is the Peace de la Moon in Cancer, Sun in Pisces, 5th house Leo signature. We are in the middle part of this integration. Moon in Gemini kicked it off. Moon in Cancer continues it, and Moon in Leo completes this with the integration. This was definitely a very psychic transit for sure. One thing from Moon in Gemini to Moon in Cancer may be this feeling that, once again, certain correlations between your intention and magical experiences that facilitate this push you forward into understanding your magic potential. Let me give you two examples. So I experimented with this with buying marijuana, and shout out to Showgirl. They have this spin the wheel thing that when you spend over a certain amount of money, they see me like almost every day. You spin the wheel, and yeah, I had experimented with it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna win a pre-roll, and like I spin the wheel, and the wheel stops on something that's not a pre-roll, and then this never happened before, and I spun this wheel countless times. The wheel moves on its own after it stopped and then landed on pre-roll. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is manifestation. And then I tried it again. So like the other day I went back, and now this isn't in a row, but this is the second time that I intended. I was like, you know what? Let me try this again. I'm gonna get a pre-roll. The machine didn't even work. The machine did not even work. So this is the second time in a row. I'm talking about out of countless times I've been doing this. Like I've probably spun this wheel over like 30, 40 times. And the second time that I decide, you know what, let me just intend to get this pre-roll. Like I've decided this is what I'm gonna win. Something for the second time ever malfunction. I'm talking about this machine never malfunctions. Even the person behind the desk, I was like, wow, this is a first. He's like, yeah, this never happened. Okay. So it never landed on the machine, the thing never worked. So it never had the opportunity to even land on pre-roll. So tell me why the person at the desk looks at me in the face and says, you know what? Let me just get you a pre-roll. I was just like, oh, magic manifestation. And it taught me that there's no limits to manifestation. Logic does not matter, because in your mind you might think, oh, okay, well, in order for me to win, it has to work out like this, and it has to land on a pre-roll. And nope, in both cases, the first time it didn't even land on it, and some magic happened to where. And so, you know, the magic of your intention is literally everything, and commitment to what it is you intend. I didn't have to worry about how that was going to happen. I was in a state where if it didn't happen, I wouldn't really care. And so there was no attachment to it. And now I'm seeing, relative to my whole lifetime of examples like this, more consistency. Okay. Maybe if I decide to intend to pre-roll the next time, maybe it might not, maybe it will. And this is the integration process, post-planting these seeds that enable you to bring together more understanding of these metaphysical processes that now create what you experience as magic. The moon in Cancer is giving you a psychic and emotional understanding of the full feeling of yourself in the imagination state, living in the end of your desire. And so as you are actively simulating and stimulating your senses to be Pisces in this imaginary state, once again, Pisces, this is facilitating the full expression of how deeply you can feel the emotions there. This is why we had to have the moon in Taurus transit, so that we can anchor this imagination, ground it through our five senses. So now through that understanding how to think about it or what to think about it, we can now feel that with feelings. Basically, the last week we created our picture. We drew the lines. Now we're filling it in with color. This is where you get to choose your signature, how you feel. What do you want to color it in blue? Do you want to color in green? What's the mood? What's the vibe? Cancer is the feel, okay? And Pisces is the vibe. So this is the feeling of the vibe. And in order to fuel this vehicle of a miracle with your emotions, you want to feel sincere emotions relative to what you're imagining. So, quick example or quick exercise, get in that state. Once again, I'm an ex-kabuki porn star that's now a unicorn. My life is saved. I'm born again. And my old days of selling my feet pics and my nose pics, I was a very famous nose porn star where I would just sell pictures of my nose and no one would see my eyes. And I was one of the sexiest nose models back in the day. I don't even share this part of my past. And so basically, now I'm a unicorn, and now, I'm feeling what it's like to be this magical, sexy, farting unicorn. And every time I fart, magic happens. And it's a lot to really just get used to. You ever fart and like people's life change? So I've been getting used to that. And you might have been finding out your flatulence and other parts of your body have psychic properties or whatever, or supernatural properties. But as we advent deeper into the supernatural experience, bearing the worlds within us all, Jesus Christ, I just love saying words at this point, Gemini. So this really puts you in a position to prepare for integration, because once the moon is in Leo, you are actively understanding the strengthening of your courage and passion, that once you have the feelings you want to feel, you can now light that up with stronger passion. And this is going to have you live that Disney lifestyle. So we be with the moon in Pisces and Gemini, and now we're doing. We did with the moon in Aries to understand the individuality that we can move forward to. And now we're adding depth to this understanding of individuality with this understanding of sincerity. Okay. The moon sextiling Uranus, which brings once again more psychic understanding to the unseen emotional vibrational elements of what your body's frequency through your senses taps you into. You're not going to be conscious of this process. However, now that we're at the last part of this is where this gets fun, to be honest. The moon is trining Neptune and it's opposing Pluto. This is a major breakthrough that's going to, through the extreme opposition of this 29-degree Pluto, fully 29 degrees, awaken Pluto, the depth of emotions, moon in Cancer, that will help you understand what direction to fully break through this expression. So you're charging up how fully you can feel into this, and then at that peak state, you're breaking through. And that breakthrough is going to trigger you so that you are tested, or you see whether you maintain those feelings or those feelings transform under the weight of your inability to maintain this end state. You don't want external, as the oppositions and squares indicate external influences. You don't want external influences to negatively impact the direction you are going to, unless it positively shifts you in the right direction. And this is, of course, bringing what you feel to a peak extreme point so that you can now, with this insight, understand how to begin to charge this in Leo. All right. The square that moon made to the Aries energy in Jupiter really just further expounded how deeper you can feel and how you've evolved. That being said, given that this integration of this cycle is taking the activation of you in the state of your dream life, and by the full moon in Virgo, it's real. It's not just something that was just in your dreams. You did it, and now you're living it. Moon in Virgo, full moon. By the time the moon's in Virgo, the Saturn will be in Pisces. So for all of you who are Saturn Pisces, born 94 and 93, for all of you who have finished your Saturn Aquarius, congratulations. Saturn Pisces, you're next up. We are, of course, on the road to this full moon, coming into the end of this week and the beginning of next week, we're coming into Saturn and Pisces. It's the beginning of the end of the world. That being said, everything that I've said as far as feeling all this is facilitating something very important. The second or third to last final awakening relative to this cycle of power. The first square to the moon in Aries was to make sure that you would maintain authenticity in the face of guilt and shame projected at you to undermine your self-esteem. Thankfully, you're not a big bitch or a little bitch. So you pass that test. And now the opposition is bringing the full brunt of this because you have the audacity to believe in yourself and love yourself. And so the negative forces oppositional to any positive frequency, which is science, it's not a philosophical bad or good thing, is going to extremely pressure you to confront all of the fears, doubts, and negative energy or power or perspective within you reflected outside. So this could be dealt with. And now this is going to be in the form of external conflicts like a movie or anime that trigger superpowers. Up until this point, once again, which I will continue to say moving forward, much of your experience with these abilities are more subconscious in a sense where you need synchronicities to confirm the context of what you're experiencing. You're breaking through more outwardly into spilling the expression of your own magic in these experiences more so, where you start to notice them affect the reality around you. And you won't be in this weird in-between space where you're like, did I do that? Am I doing that? How did I do that? What am I even doing? A lot of clarity is coming through, especially with that trine to the moon and Neptune. The synchronicities you are receiving are super clear, giving your willingness to maintain alignment to the state of being that you want to bring you into the dimension which holds the frequency that this experience exists in. Jesus Christ, what the fucking channel. So yeah, that being said, it's really just as simple as how willing are you to commit to what it is you want to be in. If you know what I'm saying, we're in a revolving door, or we're in a game that the experience changes and you just have to maintain that state. What state do you want to stay in before the time stops, the end of the transit, the full moon? You want to make sure you're maintaining that and let the external environment test you to maintain that state or change it as necessary according to what it is you decide, because it's your responsibility. Karma. Ooh. Okay, so by the time the moon is in Capricorn and Libra, you're taking this creativity you're feeling and integrating it socially in Libra and collectively understanding where all of this swag belongs. This is also going to be the formulation of magical techniques relative to mastering new abilities you have recently activated. But with Pisces, it's culminating and bringing together everything you've learned since the past 12 years in light of the Jupiter cycle that we are completing as well, and 30 years in light of the Saturn Aquarius cycle we are ending. It's a lot. The only thing I want to say, though, is you are understanding the special dynamics of your unique energy signature and how special and unique you feel to activate and trigger greater breakthrough in fully expressing the supernatural extent of your psychic potential. So really go balls to the walls with how delusional and fish-tarded you can feel. If you decide that a celebrity prince or princess is your baby mom or baby dad, go in at lengths to how delusional you are willing to really feel that. Not so that you can make logical sense of it, but so that you can fully feel what it's like to be there. This is necessary to impress your subconscious. And once you do this final push, the rest will really take care of itself. Moving forward from here is really just maintenance. So keep that mental diet on check. Fight that good fight with the word of your sword, clashing against any psychic attack to keep you down, and continue to rise. Godspeed.